Did you know? Pre-colonial Philippines had shamans known popularly as the Babaylan, and they were mostly politically and spiritually empowered women who combated spirits and protected their communities? No? Well, let's discuss it then. Howdy y'all, Haro here. Welcome to my office. And yes, this entire presentation is going to be done in Minecraft. Now, I would have loved to have gone to the Philippines myself to do fieldwork on the Babaylan. But as a college student, I have the duty of having no money or time. All I have is a computer, access to research, and a whole lot of ambition. Now, here's a fun question. What is shamanism? Fortunately for us, I am currently taking a class in shamanism and witchcraft, so I'll be using the definitions that my professor offered us. In the course, we identify the roles of shamanism in a culture by three factors. Number one, engagement with the supernatural or otherworldly agents. These agents include, but are not limited to, deities, demons, ancestors, and spirits, and shamans would have some interaction with them one way or another. Number two, role of divine healer in their community. Often, cases of misfortune or illnesses are attributed to the soul of the individual getting lost or afflicted by supernatural agents. Healing is often done through supernatural means, rituals, or herbal medicine. Number 3. Experiences with altered states. These refer to when the shaman is experiencing a non-normative state, typically to interact with spirits or an other world. These can manifest as out-of-body experiences, frenzied states, or psychedelic-like episodes. But Harl, what's the difference between shamanism and witchcraft? Well, I'm glad you asked, voice of a person that is definitely there. It's complicated. Both are very varied throughout the globe and include supernatural elements such as magic, rituals, and folk medicine. But shamanism appears to be more focused on services of healing through the supernatural, while witchcraft is more associated with malicious acts through the supernatural. More on this later. But with those definitions out of the way, let's head over to the Philippines. The Philippine Islands in Southeast Asia have been home to a variety of tribes since long before the 1600s, and within them existed powerful individuals known as the Babaylan, the Philippine shaman. Quick side note, just to showcase a fraction of the diversity that shamanism has globally, during my research, I found that there are many types of Philippine shamans. Look at this! All of them having a strong cultural distinction and name dependent on the tribe in question. For purposes of time, I will generally refer to them, the ones I'm talking about in this video, as Philippine shamans, or Babaylan, as that name seems to stick in the social consciousness a lot more. But I will also cite any other tribes and their specific practices throughout the video. Now, here is my rendition of a pre-colonial Philippine village known as a barangay, and here is usually where the journey of a Philippine shaman begins. First, a member of the community, often female, would be initiated. Men can also become shamans, but often take on feminine characteristics, as the Babaylan is closely associated with the mother goddess of the Philippines. To the Bisayans, the initiation would often take the form of illnesses befalling the individual. This may include, but is not limited to, cases of fits, convulsions, blindnesses, and visions. These were all said to be the calling of the many spirits found in the Philippines, marking the individual as significant and preparing them for a life centered around this other world. Though other Philippine tribes, such as the Insect, have had their shamans pick out people without any supernatural element beforehand. An apprenticeship would soon follow after this initiation. An elder shaman would train them to specialize in herbal medicine, plant lore, rituals, or some combination of the three. New shamans would often gain a spirit companion during this process, whom they gave offerings to and serve as a projection of growth as they build up to perform bigger and more elaborate rituals over the years, eventually achieving the role as a divine healer of their community. The purpose of these rituals is to establish communication to appease or expel otherworldly agents from afflicted individuals. Thus, utilizing some tools such as the ating-ating, an amulet, or a special stone or crystal to harness supernatural powers to their own benefit. Sacrifices are also prevalent here, with pigs and black chickens commonly served as offerings or initiators of these rituals, especially rituals that showcase a shaman's experience level. Bearing the responsibility of a divine healer in the community has some benefits to it. one of which is just having a strong influential presence in your tribe's political scene. Babaylans in particular often become advisors to the dutas, chiefs of the villages, and can straight up take a more direct leadership role to help the tribes live and prosper for many moons.
But if they were so influential, Harl, whatever happened to them?
Well, like most things, the erasure of Babaylans and Philippine shamans can be blamed on the stain of history known as colonialism. The Oxford English Dictionary defines the word witch as a person who practices witchcraft or magic, especially of a malevolent or harmful nature. Since its origins in Old English, we can see that the connotation of wickedness is nearly inseparable from the word and has been used against a variety of groups throughout history, a negative trait that my course defined as witchy. So, when the Spaniards arrived in the Philippines, it was no surprise claims of witchcraft were used to denounce the Philippine shamans. The Spaniards came to Christianize the islands, but took note of the traditions of powerful feminine roles like the Babaylan and how these indigenous peoples' way of life was gender equal, traditions that challenged Christian beliefs. So they did what any sane person would do when confronted with people of a different lifestyle. They declared the practitioners as witches and of the devil's doing. Yep, that's what they did. They demonized their mythologies and shamans to discredit any form of authority or leadership within these indigenous groups. Christianity was then used as a conduit to replace these roles via the church, after convincing the locals to abandon most of their old way of life, with the missionary even encouraging indoctrinated children to vandalize indigenous idols and carry on derogatory terms that still poison our world today. Although there had been a few revolts led by Babaylans and the like against the Spaniards, they were proven unsuccessful, and thus their power declined over time, and there are a few still around today, but most of them have lost that cultural significance they had over the islands once before. A once largely varied set of traditions, now consolidated by the public consciousness into a singular term, the Babaylans. The habit of demonization and witchy behavior is ever present in history, and the shamans of the Philippines were just yet another set of victims attacked by this same pattern. Studying shamanism and witchcraft isn't an avenue to learn how to become one, although that would be really fun. It's a course that broadens your horizons on the sheer diversity of traditions that our world has. I mean, after all, witch hunts aren't fueled by magic, they're fueled by ignorant convictions for grasp of power and control. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of the night.